guys, Merry Meet. If you're already a subscriber, thank you for joining me, and if you're new, welcome to my channel. My name is Glynis and I'm the Witch of Whitetail Hollow. It's just so nice to have everyone here. So today's video, gosh, is going to be about the Mercury Retrograde. Oh, don't panic. A few ramblings, a few shout outs, you know, just normal, typical stuff. The first thing, gosh, about the Mercury retrograde, well, we all know kind of the mechanics behind it. July 7th through, I believe, August 2nd. And I've actually sent this oil out to a few people. And forgive the shameless plug, but I do have an eBay shop. And I am selling some of my oils and potions and powders and spell kits and protection balls and things like that. So please excuse the shameless plug. But yes, I do have an eBay shop, and it is the Witch of Whitetail Hollow. And that's who I am. But anyway, don't panic. Gosh, it's kind of like, you have to think of it as like a merry-go, you know, you just get on it, merry-go-round, right? You just climb on, hang on, hang on, and you know, if you can grab the brass ring, then that's great, and if not, well, hang on, because it'll be over. It will be over. But I personally have never had any problems with Mercury retrograde, but I've always practiced a lot of protection, things like that. So, and I have used my oil quite a bit. But the bottom line is, grab a blue candle or a white candle, one or the other. Doesn't matter how big or how small, as long as you can carve into it. And you may want to carve something like recheck emails before you. So in other words, before you just randomly send out an email, check it. Take a pause. Take a step back and look at it, and make sure it's going to who you want it to go to, and it says exactly what it wants to say, or even a text. Think about it before you do that. So, and again, after you've carved your candle, anoint it, and I probably would sit and work with my candle every single day, and really the oil in itself will work for you, the candle in itself will work for you, but then you will also be working for yourself in the fact that you're making that mental check and recheck, so that, you know, okay, let's not screw up. And if you can at all help not signing contracts, then please, by all means, don't sign any contracts. But with that being said, yeah, so just, you know, do your carving, anoint it a bit, sit with it, do it every day, and probably during this time period would probably not be the best time to try to reconnect with old friends, or, and which I hate to say, don't go to a class reunion, but, you know, go to a class reunion, but take it with a grain of salt that communication and the lines of communication are going to kind of be off. So just think about it. Just take a step back and think about it. And speaking of shameless plugs and eBay stores, I have to give a huge shout out to Gypsy Wolf, because without her encouragement, I mean, before I started doing YouTube videos and before I started doing this, of course, I've always made my own oils and powders and protection balls and things like that, and controlling oil and, you know. But anyway, I've always done that for myself. But she was actually the one who encouraged me, and she said, "Yeah, you can go on YouTube. You can make videos." And I'm like, "Oh, okay," because after being solitaire and quiet for over 40 years, this is, for me, this is a big departure. And so to put it out there for me is really huge. And so for me to even go this far and to put it out there is even bigger. So I owe her a very big shout out. She's a lovely lady, just a beautiful, beautiful woman. And I would like to think that some of the things that I've done lately have had a positive effect in her life as well. I hope so anyway. But with that being said, and blue candles, and I started thinking about blue candles, and I got my old Book of Shadows out, and I started thinking about it, and if I can find it again, I did have it, and now I think I've lost it. Oh, there it is. It's right at the beginning. So it's really old, an old spell. And again, you use a blue candle, and you probably could use this oil if you wanted to. With Mercury, it all has to do with communication, whether it be written, verbal, nonverbal, or what have you. And you could probably use this Mercury Retrograde Oil even beyond the retrograde. But the spell here, and you don't have to do any carving on a candle, but it's when you're in your circle, and it's to hear secret thoughts. And with that being said, before I put this spell out, be careful of what you ask for. Not only do you have to be careful of the spells that you do, but you also have to be very well aware of your wording that you use. When I started my path, I was very young. I mean, like probably way too young. I had no one to guide me. And that's where I learned the hard way. Be careful of what you ask for, because you just might get it. So with that being said, this is my Hear Secret Thoughts chant. Light a blue candle, and you chant, as flame lights shadow and truth ends fear, open locked thoughts to my mind's willing ear. May the smoke from this candle into everywhere creep, bringing innermost voices to my mind in speech. So anyone that is very, very close to me, like physically on a day-to-day basis, they will know. Now, I've had this about myself before this spell. So this is just something it's just one of those things in my Book of Shadows that has been in there for a long time. But the reality is I've never needed this. Very often with people that I'm very close with, I can hear what they're thinking, and very often I will answer them before I give them a chance to actually verbally ask me. So over the years, I've learned to, temper myself. Okay, calm down. Let them verbalize it, and then answer them. But then at times where, like with my son, when of course he's been in the service for quite a long time, but he said, well, I'm going to apply to OCS school. And I said, well, that's great. That's wonderful, And he says, well, don't get your hopes up, because he says, we're not going to get our hopes up because it's a 1 in a million kind of shot, because the first time you apply, you just don't get in. And, I thought about it for a while, and I told him, I said, you're going to get in. And my son, of course, he knows how I am. He gave me the side eye. He gave me the side eye, and he's like, okay. I said, just be prepared. Be prepared to move, because at that time they had just had their third child. And I said, just be prepared. And within a month, he got word, and he's been an officer now for several years, and he's doing very well, and they're all very happy. But so I try not to, overspeak people and say, well, and answer their question. I try very hard. But with that, I hope everyone has a wonderful 4th of July. Stay happy, stay healthy, and please be safe. And with that, I'll say cheers, merry part, and I so hope to merry meet again. Bye, guys.